Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. The two of them go flying through the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. Jochen Hahn around the outside, and Lucas Hahn, no father and son, come together on the exit of turn 1.
And the best thing about this is the fact that it's still a 15-minute sprint race. It's not extended the time of the race. It's still just like, it's going to be, what, 7 laps of Spa Francorchamps?
Yeah. We get to the real nitty-gritty of motorsport. Cranston and Smith are side by side for the title in the very final race of the season as they go back up the hill towards the Schumacher. Nils Kor clips the back at 10, Simon Povey clips the side of Nils Kor. They go over the hill and Povey's around. Oh my god, that's going to definitely be the thumbnail, isn't it? Hit me in the right direction. Thank you so much.
23 cars.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chaz Draycott Media, and welcome to round number 6 of the CDM Clio Cup here in 2026, here at the delightful Zolder circuit in Belgium, ready for an interesting night of wet, rainy conditions for our front-wheel drive little heroes. My name's Chaz Draycott. I'm delighted to have alongside me another little hero in the commentary box, Dara Thacker, joining me once again. Dara, we've had some great races and commentated on some great races here together at Zolder before, but what do you think the Clios will be like tonight?
It's going to be quite an exciting one tonight. Zolder is a track that feels a little bit too narrow for a GT3 car, or particularly, anything bigger than that, certainly. But I think for these machines, it'll work quite nicely. A couple of heavier braking zones, a couple of places where you can nip it up the inside, but you've got to be wary on how you make the overtakes around here, and yeah, should be a good one tonight.
I will constantly remind everyone tonight that still, somehow, the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship has a round at Zolder and has done for many years now. I still don't understand how they get trucks around here after seeing it with my own eyes. One thing that we have had around here before as well in the European Series was Formula CDM, and just today it was re-announced after announcing it at the beginning of June, and I won't lie, I forgot that I'd already announced it or teased it. The Formula CDM Oceania Series will have its team draw in 2 weeks' time from today. It's going to be very exciting. Sorry, yeah, it is in 2 weeks' time. It's going to come around very, very quickly. It'll be after the last round of CDM Clio Cup, and we've got the little trailer for it to show you right now. Get your eyes around this. The Formula CDM Oceania Series will be upon us before we know it. But as we look at the CDM Clio Cup for tonight, this is how the championship stands. Dan McCauley is currently on top with 178 points. He received a penalty for the incident with Alex Fretwell back at Barber, but he still remains on top. Alex Fretwell is second in the championship, just 16 points behind. Jan Stitchbury, unfortunately, not with us for the rest of the season. But Lee Berridge, he's having a belter of a time, isn't he, at the moment, Dara? And he had a really good meeting again back at Barber.
Yeah, he did, and it's good to see that we have a couple more names coming towards the front. It is a congested championship picture towards the top, so it's not exactly clear who's going to be able to get a bit of a head start on the rest with only 3 rounds to go. But with only 3 rounds to go, if you're not going to pick up the points tonight, it's going to be very difficult in the last 2 weeks to try and regain some. So it could be a really important evening to see who can take home the big points in what will hopefully, well, surely I should say, be changeable conditions, Chaz.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be a very, very interesting night. You could see the session just flick over there as it now leans into qualifying. And the cars will head out of the end of the pit lane. And just going through the bottom of the shot, you might have noticed there is a new driver joining the fray. Now, this is a driver that I've not seen in a very, very long time on my screen. Adam Delmont, a good friend of mine from iRacing days, from many long days gone by. He used to race for the XI Energy iRacing team alongside the likes of, funnily enough, Ash Beard and Adam McNally, a number of others. Adam is always an energetic driver to watch, we'll say, racing for the Next Gen team for the remainder of this season. It's been great to have him join the ranks, even in this late stage, but he says he's not driven the Clio in a while and he's wanted to race it again, and here he is now, back in prime position to race it. We have a couple of penalties to discuss for tonight. Jack Johns, unfortunately, has a race ban, so he will not be here tonight. But after serving his race ban, his teammate Sam Van Olst is back with us, and we know Sam is one that could be right up there at the sharp end, especially, Dara, on home soil here tonight.
Yeah, of course, over here in Belgium. It's not a million miles away from the Dutch border here at Zolder, but very much in the Belgian sector of Europe. I didn't really know where this was going, to be honest. I kept it up for some reason. But he'll be looking to get a good qualifying result, especially, as you said, after not being here last week. He has points to try and regain towards the rest of the field, but it's quite congested down there at the moment at the start of the qualifying session. They've got time. They've got 15 minutes to get a lap in, but they all look like they're heading out at once.
Except for Dan McCauley, in fact. Dan is leaving a bit of room. He's the championship leader coming here. He's just got back from Tomorrowland, which, funnily enough, is also in Belgium, actually. So he's going to be sick of going in and out of Belgium at the minute. So he might still have a bit of a headache right now. Martin Shirley is not on the circuit. He has a qualifying ban here tonight. And Danny Weir, who is, well, Danny Weaver at the minute, has a race 2 pit lane start that he will serve a little bit later on. But based on there being just 14 cars here with us tonight, he's not going to suffer too badly from that, and he'll still be in a point-scoring place so long as he finishes. Looks like Delmont is the driver that's furthest around a lap, as has a bit of a moment over on the left-hand side. Talk me through this chicane here, Dara, because this can be pretty nightmare fuelish, can't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you come through 3 basically 90 right... Whoa, and that's wide. 3 90 right-handers, and you come up to that chicane. It's about picking the braking zone and trying to get the best exit possible without hitting the second curb. And if I could have got all of that in before Adam Delmont went through, I would have gone, see, he's hit that second curb.
Just like that.
But exactly, just like that. That's what you've got to avoid doing. But it's the kind of risk-reward through there, isn't it? Because it's very easy to take it quite cautious into the first part. And then almost pick up the pace, but I'll pick up the pace through the middle of the corner, but you don't really want to be doing that because it's not the fastest way through. So it's difficult, but whoever can nail it is going to gain, a couple of tenths even at that part of the track. Yeah,
it certainly is a very pivotal part of the circuit. Matt Hoyland is the driver just in front of him on the track right now. Looks like a very clean surface on the run down to the Jackie Ixbocht, which is the final chicane. Through the right-hander he goes, over the crest of the hill, and then across the start-finish line. He will be the first driver to put a time on the board, and then our qualifying graphics should appear. There they go. And it is Hoyland with a 1:45.1. It doesn't feel like that longer lap here at Zolder, but it really is. And ultimately, Adam Delmont's time does not count because of his off-track. Jean Breitenbach, he goes second, and it's Ben Gregory, Osberg, and Van Olst straight up into second place. Just 53 thousandths of a second off of Matt Hoyland. James Holman, great to have James back with us, by the way. He is racing for RD Simsport. Strangely, not teammates with Martin Shirley. They're in RD Simsport 1 and RD Simsport 2. But James finally has his new rig sorted after his PC absolutely cacked the bed at Okayama. Remember, he put it on pole position and then didn't race in any of the 3 races. So it'll be intriguing to see what he's got up his sleeves tonight, won't it? Ex-Legends racer. He's always fast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's good to have these guys back in the fold tonight and being competitive from the off as well. Oh my word! It's horrific to watch, isn't it? Those cars climb over that curve. It feels like you're going to watch them take off. Thankfully, they haven't. But this doesn't feel like the best bit of track for Holman to be in at the moment, because he's going to come into this turn 8 complex where all of this is apparently one corner behind 2 cars that, realistically, are holding up right now.
Yeah, he's really doing a good job of showing these guys who's faster, but yeah, he's not really got... he's down the inside of Stuart Clark. I know Stuart won't be too happy about that, but James may be on a very good lap here and won't want to give it up. Jean Breitenbach's done a purple Sector 4, so he's looking good into this final couple of corners here. Across the line he goes. I will also mention at this point, before I forget, there's Delmont fastest, 1:44.9. What about Breitenbach? He breaks the beam and heads into... No improvement, actually. James Holman were with 2 purple sectors at the start of the lap. I was just about to talk about him again as Van Alst improves once more. That's the second time Van Alst has been 53 thousandths off the top spot, if I remember rightly. James Holman, 1/4 of a second back. Now, he's running under the Irish flag. He is British, but he lives in Ireland, so he runs under the Irish flag, and hopefully that connection blip isn't a sign of things to come. What about championship leader Dan McCauley? No time set for him just yet, but he's working up to it.
He is. He's building it up. He's preparing the lap to end everybody else's lap. Well, that's how he'll hope to look at it. Coming in towards the final part of the lap now. He's only got a couple more corners really to think about. You flow through those little kinks at full throttle. You don't really think about them, just more trying to shorten them off. And then you come into this final chicane. It is, of course, the tighter chicane that we're using, rather than that more flowing line that you can take. But as he comes around the final corner, he gets out nicely, gets it back to the right-hand side to start another lap. What's the time for Dan McCauley going to be? Is it competitive towards the front? Not where I think he would expect to be. Actually, P8, 7/10 to find. Yeah,
he's definitely got a bit of room for improvement there as Monsieur Hoyland, but... sorry, well, Monsieur Hoyland probably has as well, but Dan's got to really figure it out. Adam Delmont pushing hard in this Clio. He's been racing in another Clio league, which you may see advertised on the car. He's been asked to remove that for next time, but he's not raced in it for ages, as Adam's 6 thousandths off of his personal best. In fact, his personal best being pole position as well, so it's showing that he can replicate those lap times. It's not just a one-off, that lap that he's put up at the top of the board. Fretwell's not been able to get a clean lap in yet. I apologise to Alex for not running his up-to-date livery from Barber. He's got this updated, lovely 9PP Racing livery on the car now. And he has gone 5th fastest, just under half a second off. It's not a big gap, really, considering how long a lap it is it?
It's not, I know. We're looking at, just over 100 seconds for the lap, which means that over the course of a 20-minute race, which we will have later, it'll be about 1,200 seconds in the race, which means we'll have about 12 laps in each of the races. And I've also, as I've said this, just realised if we're going to have rain later, that messes that up anyway, so I'm glad I worked that out. Osberg's on his outlap again. Delmont's currently going fastest. Hoyland's not going to be able to set this lap time. He's got a slowdown from somewhere. But Delmont looks like he was going faster in the first sector. The sector times are a little bit funny, aren't they, at the bottom there? But apparently he's improving in the first and the third. God knows what happened in that second sector, Chaz.
Well, that's just a non-improvement.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, did it not used to come up as yellow? Or did I...
No, I just didn't discuss that with you. It's now blue.
Oh, okay. Brilliant.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well, there we are. No, it's all right. No. That makes complete sense now.
Yeah. It's the brand colours, Dara. Come on. I'm joking. Delmont across the line then. No improvement in the final sector. none of them purple. It's mad, isn't it? He goes and improves, but it's not a purple sector, even though he's the one on pole position. It just, I don't, my brain can't make sense of that. Sam van Olst going well, still running in second place in this session. And on home soil, Sam will really want to take some points. He took 2 race victories on the road back at Jerez. He'll want to do the same again here tonight. I know that he's going to be really, really excited about this one. Martin Shirley not out in qualifying, but it's a shame we can't really look at his car to talk about him at the moment, because Martin Shirley has had a really, really solid round at Barber. Just looking back at his point scores, he had a 9th. He got a win then because of Jack John's penalty for the incident with John Breitenbach. He lost that win, and it went to Martin Shirley. And then Martin obviously finished in second place in the final race. So, yeah, Martin really on the form at the moment. Ben Gregory was going well again as well at Barber, wasn't he? He took his first race win of the season, so he's potentially one to watch. But, again, we've got such a topsy-turvy qualifying session. That's what's been a really good theme this season. We never know what to expect from quali.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we had that one round at Jerez. I think we were Breitenbach obviously got that pole out of nowhere. Delmont, Van Olst kind of coming back after. Well, I mean, neither of them were here last week, so it'd be interesting to see if one of them gets pole by the end of the session. But there's not long to go now. 5 minutes. I do feel like qualifying disappears quite quickly. From us, even though it is 50 minutes. It's not the longest time anyway, but it just feels like it goes immediately. And I think it's mainly because in these cars, these shorter laps end up being longer, don't they?
Yeah.
Just in terms of time, just because of the power that they have. And so when you think of Zolder, you think, oh, you're gonna get quite a few attempts at that. And then after 3 or 4 laps, you look at the clock and there's 4 minutes left.
Yeah. And as Simon Price has rightly mentioned, Hoyland, car 44, does a 144, goes to the top, 144.828. But as Simon Price has rightly mentioned, there's a lot of slowdowns popping up, and we are going to see a number of them over the course of the evening, aren't we? So many chicanes and bits of runoff to overdo it on here. It's going to be a really tricky one to piece a lap together, and I think that's why we have the qualifying order that we do, to be fair. But Hoyland has done his best there to make sure that the debutant, Adam Delmont, doesn't get pole position on his first attempt.
He's got another attempt, isn't he? Let's see if he can do it again. Didn't look comfortable through there, did it, at all? Bouncing over the curbs. It does look like a tricky place to control these cars at the moment, but at the moment, Delmont's not doing a bad job to get himself up onto what is provisionally the front row of the grid. Traffic gets out of the way as well. It's very nicely done in the end.
Yeah, Fretwell, that is moving over. Fretwell in 6th position at the minute. His teammate James Pallett is back with us again tonight, which is good to see. Car number 13 is P13 at the moment. Just the 14 cars with us here tonight, but as we've seen before in CDM Clio Cup, you only need 10 cars to have an absolutely outstanding race. We've had a few where there's been a bit of attrition, a few people retiring as, Dan McCauley gets a slowdown penalty. Luckily for him, he's quite late on in the lap, so he'll get a bit more time to do another lap, but it's not going to be too long at all, because don't forget, as soon as this session hits 0, all the cars are ejected off the circuit. And that is that. They don't get time to finish the lap they're on. So we need to start counting down at this point, Dara.
We do. And very shortly, very shortly, you can almost imagine the checkered flag starts flying and that you can only finish the lap you're on, and then everything else is obsolete, to be honest with you. Breitenbach is just starting what will be his final lap now in P5 for the time being. Would only take 100th to put him one spot higher. Stuart Clark in P10, but he needs a few tenths actually to jump him up any further up the order, and this lap isn't it by the looks of it. Tool Jan Osbo could be improving, as could James Pallett, who is a couple of seconds off the pace, needs to find a lot of time to join the others and finds a good chunk of it, but we'll have this one final attempt to go, and Jan Osbo will be the last driver to cross the line. You can imagine the checkered flag starts flying about now, because Danny Weir's going to complete this lap, and that'll be him done for the session. He won't get around again, and he will stay P12 at best.
Ben Gregory, the next car across the line then, and he completes the session 8th place at best. That is not what we expected from Ben after he took the race win at Barber last week, but we've seen that these sessions can be so up and down. James Holman on his return to the championship does not go fastest there. He does improve at the end, but that's 4th place for him. What about Adam Delmont? He has then got Alex Fretwell and Matt Hoyland behind him, so these 3 all right in the mix. Fretwell though with a slowdown penalty, so that's going to put his lap to bed. Even though he did a purple sector 3 as well. That's probably because of the slowdown, though. He may have cut the chicane or something. But that might be why we're not seeing too many purple sectors pop up, because drivers aren't able to replicate the pace somebody did with a corner cut. But Delmont to the line then. He's staying over to the right. He's only improved 1 sector so far. And Delmont crosses the line. I don't think that's going to be an improvement at all, and it is not. What about Matt Hoyland? He's going to be on pole by the look of it. He does a 1:44.7. Breitenbach next across the line. What about Dan McCauley? No improvements for him here. God, Tomorrowland must have really knocked the wind out of him.
Yeah. Forgotten how to drive, isn't he? After a weekend of fun. That's harsh. He's still in P9 doing a good job, but he will stay there for the end of the session. Jan Osberg may be the final driver able to improve. Stuart Clark actually improved ahead of Dan McCauley up into P9, and then it will be Jan Osberg. He's the last guy who has a chance at jumping up the order. Can he do it at the end? No, he'll stay P6, and that'll be our grid.
Wow, fantastic stuff for Matt Hoyland. Takes pole position. Great to see Adam Delmont continuing to be just as fast as I always remember him being. And he will start on the front row of the grid of this race. But an interesting grid it will be. Hoyland and Delmont then, the front row for HW Racing and Next Gen. Then it's Sam Van Olst, hoping to get back into the championship fight tonight. He's third on the grid ahead of James Holman. Welcome back, James. Jean Breitenbach will start from fifth alongside Jan Ostberg, with Alex Fretwell and Ben Gregory making up row 4. Then it's Stuart Clark alongside championship leader Dan McCauley, starting in 10th ahead of John Roberts and Danny Weir on that 6th row of the grid. James Pallett and Martin Shirley complete the 14-car field. Martin will be looking to make further progress after starting at the very back and having that qualifying ban. Hoyland on pole then before the cloud sets in here, Dara. It's scheduled to rain during race 2. What do you think the guys are going to be like in this first one, trying to make the most of the dry conditions?
Yeah, I think... I don't know if they'll push too hard, to be honest with you, because I think having a good starting spot for race 2 it could be really quite important if and when rain starts to develop throughout that session. So I think drivers may be a little bit cautious in this opening one, but then again, we've not seen that all season long, have we?
We absolutely haven't. Here we go then. First race of the night in round number 6 of the CDM Clio Cup from Zolder is underway. There's a little puff of smoke from Adam Delmont's car on the left-hand side of shot. Everybody staying in a pretty stable position. It's Ben Gregory and Dan McCauley that go the most over to the middle. The top 3 stay as they were. It's Osberg trying to go around the outside of Breitenbach there for 5th position. Alex Fretwell, Ben Gregory, they all stay single file behind them. Stuart Clark losing that place to Dan McCauley. Osberg down the inside. Gregory gets told where to go by Fretwell. At the front though, Hoyland has held the lead, but Adam Delmont all over the back of him. Adam, I'm sure, will be tapping his lid and giving it the karting move, saying, come on, go forward, work together here. Championship leader Dan McCauley's blinking in, and now he's around, he's clipped off the front of Ben Gregory. And through the Lucien Bianchi box, he goes all the way over to the left. And oh, that's absolute devastation straight off the bat for Dan McCauley.
Yeah, not what he needed at all to start off his evening, but he's going to have to try and recover right from the back of the field. And see how much further he can get. Obviously, everyone's going to score points if they finish tonight. So he will want to carry on, pick up the points regardless. But, you know, I think he'll be looking for a little bit more and maybe looking to recover a little bit to give himself a good shot in race number 2. Fretwell and Gregory fighting out. Gregory with a good exit with Stuart Clark just in behind. He looks like he's going to get himself involved in all this as well. Van Olst around the outside now of Osberg. With Osberg, sorry, that's not Osberg, that's Holman coming up the inside of him as they work their way towards the final couple of corners as well. But that bit of battling has given Delmont a bit more breathing room in P2.
Yeah, he's certainly got a little bit of space, hasn't he? Van Olst comes over to the right and tells Holman, look, that's your outside line, mate. You stay in that little space there. Gregory has gotten ahead of Alex Fretwell for 7th position. Those two had a bit of a fight on the first lap. Osberg then defending from Breitenbach, but Hoyland leading the way after this first lap. Hoyland's had a bit of a topsy-turvy season. He won the first race back at Donington last time it rained, funnily enough, as well. He had a 6th and a 7th, but then at Jerez he had a nightmare night. 12th, 13th and a DNF for him. It was not an evening to remember back at Jerez. Looks like Gregory and Fretwell have had a bit of a swap around here, and it looks like Gregory's lost out because of this. Let's see. Fretwell... Gregory's just gone in hot. Gregory's gone in way hot, hit the curb, and that loses him loads of momentum. And then all of a sudden, Fretwell has come under attack from Stuart Clark, and now they're still fighting away as they head down towards the chicane.
Let's see, is there a chance? No. Down here, far too far back. You'd have to be pretty much alongside to make it work through there. Big bounce over the first curve isn't going to compromise them too much into the second part, and they do continue onwards. But there's that gap up to John Breitenbach very clearly forming already. 1.8 seconds it is between those two drivers in 6th and 7th. Delmont cutting a bit of the chicane means he's got a slowdown penalty, and he's going to fall closer towards Van Alst and Holman. I don't think it was the smartest choice to use it there, or end up serving the slowdown there, because it's going to hurt him all the way down the rest of this little straight. But in the end, we'll be safe as Holman again tries that outside line on Van Alst.
Ooh, he's just triggering the spotter. I did give some of the drivers a bit of a warning in the... Oh, Delmont's having to move out of the way and literally get on the brakes to serve that slowdown penalty. Holman might get 2 for 1 here as he goes down the inside of Sam Van Alst, and there's a bit of contact through the second part of the chicane. I think Holman expected Van Alst to disappear by the look of it there. Sam just gives him a bit of a rub, and the driver on home turf defends his ground. Osberg goes up into 4th place. Breitenbach goes up into 5th. I'll have to keep an eye on this just in case it boils over, but Delmont suddenly finds himself back in 3rd position and straight away in a potential position now to attack Sam Van Alst. All of this is really helping Matt Hoyland.
Oh yeah, and Hoyland's just disappeared. He's got 2.5 seconds, which in this series, so far has been unheard of. That's an incredible lead for Matt to be able to hold over the rest of the field. Let's see how long he can keep this up, though. Can Van Alst and Delmont maybe start to work together? Well, I mean, by this evidence, the answer is very much not, because Van Alst is going to get through, on Delmont, and then Osberg and Breitenbach are lining up to join in as well.
Oh, looks like Delmont's got a brilliant run through the chicane. Lovely stuff. Nicely calculated over the crest of the hill there, side by side. Fretwell in the background with a slowdown penalty as he tries to push to catch up to this fight. There's a bit of contact on the way down the hill. Delmont getting his elbows out early here. Sam, well, fair play, still makes the corner. Oh, Delmont's got to be careful doing that, though. He cuts the inside of it. Oh, dearie me, this is very feisty stuff. Jan Osberg is in the front row seat to watch all of this unfold. He needs to be careful here not to... Oh, don't overdo it, Jan. I would have held back here and waited for an incident to happen in front of you. It's obvious it's going to happen at some point. Don't make one. Oh, more contact between Delmont and Van Alst. And still the battle rages on. I just want to quickly, just while this erupts, I'm going to quickly look back at what happened down into the chicane here, Dara.
Let's have a look. Inside line, or outside line for Van Alst. They just get slightly connected. It's just a bit deep, isn't it? From Coleman, and that's why Van Alst went... Oh, sorry, not Coleman. Holman, goodness me. There's no mustard on the track yet. But yeah, that's why that develops. 3 wide, is it? Nearly. Down in towards turn number 1. Breitenbach on the inside line. Osberg on the outside. Holman just about trying to hold his line. Breitenbach's going to get through on Osberg because of the difficult line into the gravel that the Swedish driver took. And they swap around, but Holman trying to recover from that moment, which admittedly was probably more on him, just by going a little bit deeper. No harm, no foul, but unfortunately came off worse from it, and he's trying to recover. Yeah,
I wonder if... I mean, Van Alst turned in, and it's almost like the two of them got sort of clacked together, if that's the the right phrase for it. Like 2 bits of Lego, they just sort of stuck together. But yeah, we've got Holman 2 wheels through there as he chases back down Sam Van Alst. Looks like Delmont's had a poor run. He's lost a lot of time over the crest of the hill. Holman's going to go round the outside and then down the inside to him. God, nobody wants to lead the charge in chasing Hoyland, do they? Lovely stuff by Holman. Hooks it on the inside of that curb and through he goes. Now it's Jan Osberg who's got a slowdown penalty, and Ben Gregory is going to take advantage of him. Goodness me, Gregory now going round the outside. Fretwell might go through as well, because Osberg's got to serve that pretty sharpish. Martin Shirley's having a great race. He's gained 5 positions so far. Could be a 6th, but he's on the outside line. Oh, he's gone a bit deep into there, trying to take advantage of the situation. Stuart Clark is the one that then takes advantage in the end. We go further back up towards this lot near the front. Delmont, 4th position. Still a strong debut so far, but he's well under pressure now from John Breitenbach.
Let's see if there's any kind of pressure that Breitenbach can really, apply to Delmont in terms of making the move. I've seen John struggle a couple of times to just make that move stick over the course of the season. He's had the pace, like we saw at Jerez, but he wasn't just able to make the moves when he required them. This could be a different opportunity for him, though. Delmont went wide through there at turn 1, but going back not quite close enough to capitalise into 2. But he's lurking a bit, isn't he? Is Jean at the moment? He's just kind of sitting there waiting for the opportunity to present itself, and that's not going to feel very settling for someone like Delmont.
No, it's not. It really isn't. He wants to go further forward and attack these two. Sam van Olst holding on ahead of James Holman, but James hasn't had much chance to have a go at him just yet. He'll want the guys behind to have a bit of a scrap, so he gets a bit more of a clear run to the back of the Gold Sus machine. Big hop, skip and a jump through there. I imagine Van Olst knows this place pretty well. I know it is a home circuit and that seems a bit stereotypical, but honestly, when people do have a home track, if it's well replicated in a simulator, you do tend to drive it quite a bit. Depends whether Sam is a Spa-Francorchamps guy or a Zolder guy, I suppose, out of the two. Two both very well-known Belgian racing circuits. But there's a little battle going on further back. Jan Osberger's got Stuart Clark and Martin Shirley still right behind him. Dan McCauley has recovered to 13th place. He's gotten ahead of James Pallett. I suppose Dan is just going to be hoping for the fact that if he does stay all the way down there, then obviously he's going to benefit well from the reverse grid. He'll be second on the grid to James Pallett if it carries on as is. But then, obviously, you've got to think about the third race of the night on top of that. Hoyland, well, he doesn't care about the third race at this moment, does he, Dara? He's having a great time.
He's having a lovely time. He's, I mean, this is maybe the most he's enjoyed himself all season, to be honest with you. And could you blame him, really? This is a perfect chance for him. 4 seconds in front. We're not even halfway through the race. I can't quite think, since the opening round of the season, I can't quite think of a display this dominant, to be honest.
No, I don't think I can either, to be fair. Ben Gregory has had a little a move on John Breitenbach. I think John has maybe had a bit of a drama down at the first corner here. Let's have a look at what happens. Does he do what Ben did earlier? Does he just go in too hot? Whoa! Back end goes around on him. You don't see that very often in these Clios. You do see them getting a little bit loose from time to time, maybe a bit of a four-wheel drift. You never really see the rear end going like that. That was very, very strange. Breitenbach won't want that to happen again. He's actually instantly gone back down the inside of Alex Fretwell to try a move. Fretwell, side by side with him. Yeah, Fretwell comes off better there, and to be fair, I think he'll be quite glad of that, because I don't know anyone that really would have thought about that move, but obviously Jean got the run. This trio's very intriguing, isn't it? This could all erupt very suddenly, or these guys could all score some pretty solid championship points.
Yeah, they could. I think that's got to be on the top of their mind. You don't want to throw away all these points that they have kind of in the palm of their hand. Yeah, they'll want second at each of them, but I think economically it might be better to have the points on the board rather than going all out for it by the end of the race. But they're experienced. They know how to balance it quite well. I mean, Adam, currently sitting in P4, I see he's still in that driver's chat in the Discord, so he forgot to leave that. Let's hope he doesn't forget to leave his nose in somewhere and make a path for P2.
I think some of the guys, to be fair, they like to sit in there in case there's other drivers that just want to talk while the race is on. It's very black and white sometimes. There's drivers that can talk while driving, and there's others that need silence and need the focus, you know. And I remember racing with a couple of teammates, having a good old chinwag. It really calmed me down, actually. We've got a move down the inside from Holman there on Van Olst. Van Olst went wide, gave him the room. There was a little bit of a lock-up, but he stays in front. Holman, I think, just trying to show a bit of intent there. And now look at the speed Delmont carries through the Lucien Bianchi box. Runs wide on the exit. Doesn't get a slowdown for it, but boy, he looked really quick into there. Holman now moving around behind Sam, trying to put him off. It's quite funny, really. Sam is never backwards in going forwards, and he's the one now that's having to be defensive. It's not often we have to see that from the Belgian.
No, it's not. But he's having to throw these moves now because you're just not going to catch up to Matt Hoyland at this point. He knows that all he can do is really try and hold off for P2. And I think because psychologically he knows that P1's kind of gone, there just isn't enough time left in the race for him to try and reel Matt Hoyland in. He's now going to be driving more on the mirrors than through the big windscreen in front of him. So I think that's going to cause him to be a little bit more defensive. You'll be very defensive if you're going to have cars in the back of you. Holman's gone into the side of Delmont. He just broke a little bit too late, couldn't get the car turn. It's going to invite Ben Gregory onto the rear end, but it's given Sam Van Olst a lot more breathing room.
I don't know why Delmont's flashing the lights. I mean, I understand that they went off the circuit, but Yeah, it was only a little lock-up by Holman. It wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't like he left-hand downed him, but yeah, I suppose actually it might have been him saying thank you, because it was clear there that Holman gave the position back. He's now giving him a blink of the light saying you're welcome. But look at this, all of a sudden it's now a bit of a train, because John Breitenbach is on this as well. John Brayton on the back of this, with Alex Fretwell in the mix, then Ben Gregory, then James Holman and Adam Delmont for third. That gives Sam Van Alst an easy second place if he can keep it on the road and avoid slowdown penalties.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the point that they'll be looking to kind of, make a point of to themselves, right? This is a good chance for them to sit here and pick up some decent points for their championship. John, even with his issues, is still in P7 and very much in view of third. So even with the moments he's had, he's in a very good spot to pick up a decent finishing position. Martin Shirley has got to be careful, because Jan Osberg could be about to make the move. He thinks better of it down into the chicane though, and they'll stay line stern.
Yeah, I think these guys also will see the group ahead and think all it takes is one little kick-off and we can be in that, you know. Maybe not to fight too hard. Martin Shirley having a great race so far though. He's the biggest mover in the field. 6 places gained for the Brit. And he is continuing some very good forward momentum by the look of it, actually, as he breaks away a little bit from Jan Osberg through that sector. Martin just had to sit out qualifying, but he's really running well at the moment with those 6 places. Championship leader Dan McCauley currently running down in 13th. He's 6 seconds behind Danny Weir, and then 10 seconds ahead of James Pallett. We didn't actually look back at his incident though, Dara. Hoyland has a slowdown, but let's have a little chin wag at this.
Now let's have a look. Dan McCauley, this was obviously at the start, in towards turn 3. Does he drift a bit?
Oh, yeah.
That'll be what it is. He just blinks, and there's no way that, the car on the outside can just tell where he is. So it's unfortunate, but that's the technology failing us a bit. This is what Ben Gregory saw. I can imagine it's not a lot after the middle of the corner.
Yeah, he just appears and he's on the front of him, doesn't he?
Can't do anything there, can you? Yeah.
That's horrible, horrible stuff. It's horrible for Dan McCauley, because he wouldn't have known either. It's very often the case that if you do have a little blink like that, it doesn't mean that at the exact moment your car disappears for everyone else, they all disappear for you. One of the most infamous little disconnects, what we called a one-way disconnect like that, was my friend James Underhill actually races in this championship sometimes. He had a disconnect a few years ago in a GTE race, and oh hello, that's a big old incident for Alex Fretwell over there, and Jean Breitenbach also got a slowdown penalty, so they've both got to serve it. But James had been in the pit lane after an incident on lap 1 in a big GTE race at Watkins Glen, and he basically came back out on the track to then form up behind the safety car, and as the field was all on the back straight, James came steaming up the hill, not knowing that he'd sort of had like a one-way disconnect, so he was still uploading data to the iRacing server and it was still sending a signal, but he wasn't receiving anything or seeing anybody else, so he was flying flat out, and he went through the entire queue of cars, smashed loads of them out of the way, but it didn't affect his car at all. So it wasn't like he hit one car and that was the crash. He just carried on through the entire pile of cars and just bowled them all out of the way. And it was I was in that pile as well. I was sat in my Ford GT doing about 40 mile an hour. It's one of the scariest things I've ever seen. But yeah, it isn't always in both directions. So while Dan blinked for Ben wouldn't really have blinked for Dan there. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame to see it have that end effect. Good little scrap here between Jean Breitenbach and Alex Fretwell. Fretwell, he's not quite at his best here tonight, is he, at the moment?
He's not. He's been very consistent over the course of the season, hasn't he? Getting regular top 5s, and he's fighting over keeping his P6 right now. Breitenbach with the inside line should be able to grab that as they work their way in towards turn 3, and will. And Alex Fretwell is going to lose out another position. He's going to be careful. I don't think he'll lose out towards Shirley and Osberg behind. There's a big enough of a gap, but yeah, P7 not exactly where he'd want to be. Very much midfield tonight with 14 cars here this evening. Ben Gregory picks up a slowdown. That's just going to stop him from getting after Holman for P4. Hoyland's got to slow down for the lead, but I mean, that's not going to change anything, is it? He'll have 2 laps to go when he crosses the line.
Yeah, he's having a great run at the moment, is Hoyland, despite that slowdown. Sam Van Alster's had a few slowdowns as well. I said earlier on that he needs to be careful and really avoid them. And as you can see, the Gold Sus car does have his mirrors full of Delmont and Holman. And, I mean, even knowing how fast Sam is, I don't think I'd want my mirrors full of Delmont and Holman. They're not drivers either that are backwards in going forwards. So certainly an interesting battle on the horizon if Sam gets any more. He needs to be really careful. Treat it like he's on his last track limits warning and really just dial it back a little bit. Just get the car safely to the end. But he's doing a good job. It's good to see him back with us. Obviously, it's never nice for a driver to have a one-round ban for their licence points, but it had to happen, and Sam is now back in fighting form. I think Jack Johns is still around tonight, maybe spotting for him, because Jack did make the effort to turn up to the driver's briefing as well, which we appreciate, Jack, if you are listening and watching. But we've got a little battle going on here for 11th place. Danny Weir and John Roberts fighting. These two came to blows back at Barber, a little bit of contact through the chicane. And as soon as we were in the driver chat afterwards, Danny said, look, this is why I'm innocent. It was a very direct defence by Danny Weir. Maybe a direct defence on the horizon here from Adam Delmont as Holman closes in again.
Yeah, he does, but not close enough to make a move down in towards this chicane. They've got Van Alst not far away, kind of on a string right now. Look at the air time they get over that inside curb, then rise over the crest, dive into the forest, and then immediately appears this complex of corners down at what is turn 8. It's such a wide chicane now. There's so much curb there that you can almost forget that this is an old school circuit, that it is. And that's probably some of the most runoff you're going to get anywhere around this track.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting having that much runoff. It's interesting in trucks, let me tell you that, when we've got penalty markers on the inside. Sam van Olst has a little bit of a run wide on the exit of Boulderberg box, and now that puts him under attack from Adam Delmont. Adam puts his nose out to the left, brakes early though not to go into the back of Sam. It's very aware driving, but look at that, he's got Holman all over the back of him as well, gives Van Olst a bit of a kiss. And with one lap to go, we've got a very interesting battle shaping up for second. Jack saying that he's keeping an eye on how much harder he has to work for the next 3 rounds towards the end of the championship. These three, though, great to see 2 of these guys actually making their debut, really, tonight. Holman was with us for Okayama at round 2, but after qualifying, his PC crashed, and that was that. There's contact with Delmont. He turns in as if Van Olst is not there, and Holman says, go on then, I'll have some of that. Through he goes. Good opportunism there by Holman. And that is some of the real-world experience paying true there, I think.
Yeah, nicely done. And on the last lap as well, you can see it from here. He didn't have the best view. You know, the 2 cars kind of blocking either line, but the slight lock-up is just giving him enough of a run down the inside. A little bit of door-to-door rubbing. But no harm there from James Holman up into P2. Very opportunistic, and he'll be delighted with that. You just know he was giddy in the car when he came out of that corner.
Delmont will be, well, he's pushing already. He's got a slowdown penalty as well, which has put it to bed in terms of him getting a podium. But yeah, it was good of Van Olst on the exit of the corner. He, to be fair, could have really squeezed Holman and kept going out to the right-hand side. But yeah, he opened it up as soon as he saw that Holman had got the run. That's the good thing about this, is that it's nice to think that some of the drivers have seen some of their previous errors and gone, you know what, yeah, fair enough, I'll avoid a penalty now. Gregory's gone well, he's up 3 places. Martin Shirley is up 6 places. Battle going on between Jan Osberg and Stuart Clark in the background. But ahead of all of this is this man, Matt Hoyland. Heads round the final corner, and for HW Racing, takes his 2nd race win of the season. The 2nd time he has won race 1 of the night in the CDM Clio Cup. And Hoyland wins at Zolder. He'll be over the moon with that. And he does get to reset after the line. It's something we've changed recently. Holman in his 1st race of the season, 2nd, ahead of Sam van Olst. Adam Delmont finishes in 4th place. Ben Gregory 5th after 3 places gained. Good drive from him. Jan Ostberg just side by side with Stuart Clark. Loses out by a couple of thousandths of a second. We'll have to check that at the line. What a battle those 2 had. And then it's Danny Weir and John Roberts. Dan McCauley is going to finish his 1st race of the night in 13th place, but he'll be pleased with the fact that we have a reverse grid. Danny Weir flashing the lights at his teammate Hoyland to say well done. And then there's just 1 more car to cross the line, and it's James Pallett. Unfortunately not in P13 here, Dara.
Yeah, but he will be the last driver to set set the record straight for this opening race of the evening. It's been lovely and bone dry, hasn't it, to start off, but I don't think it's going to last that way for very long.
No, it's definitely not going to. We have planned rain for this season. It will rain during this race, so a number of the drivers now will head to the pit lane and they will prepare their tyres for this one. This is going to be the grid then for race number 2 of the night. We go straight into it. James Pallett will start on pole position with Dan McCauley alongside him, championship leader. He may go pretty well in wet conditions here, so we'll have to see. John Roberts will start third on the grid ahead of Danny Weir in fourth. Then it's Jan Osberg and Stuart Clark continuing their fight. If you look, they've actually finished in the same thousandth of a second according to that graphic. Martin Shirley is next up alongside Alex Fretwell. Then we have Jean Breitenbach and Ben Gregory next on the grid. Adam Delmont starts alongside Sam Van Olst. Then we have James Holman and Matt Hoyland. Race 1 winner will start from the very back of the grid for this. James Pallett has taken wet tyres. Dan McCauley has taken dries. Looks like Ben Gregory, Sam Van Olst and Alex Fretwell are the other drivers to take wets. You can see the graphic on the left-hand side of your screen there. Looks like some of them are opting not to head to the grid. It looks like John Roberts might have missed this one. And Stuart Clark. Those two starting from the pits with Danny Weir. Oh, Jan Osberg gets a poor getaway. And James Pallett leads us away from the grid in the second race of the night here in CDM Clio Cup. He's got Dan McCauley all the way around his outside. John Breitenbach goes to the inside of just about everybody into turn 1. Manages to make it through there nice and tidy, but it's Dan McCauley and James Pallett, the front two on wets. Martin Shirley then on dry tyres. Obviously, he's going to have some good pace to begin with. So it's going to be interesting to see how the tyre strategy works out here. We saw at Donington being on wets from the beginning. Well, it certainly worked then. Let's see how it works now.
Yeah, McCauley getting that good getaway. I mean, Pallett just decided that he didn't want to take any kind of racing line for turn 1. I think it just allowed Dan to get a much better line through. Shirley then, the leader of that dry tyre strategy at the moment. 2x2 into the chicane. That's brave. Delmont and Breitenbach already over 5th and 6th just now. And going side-by-side through that chicane, and they're still side-by-side as they rise over the crest. Van Olst and Matt Hoyland, the race 1 winner, are side-by-side in the background as well, and they're on different tyres too. So it feels that anyone right now that are battling side-by-side are on different tyre strategies, and if the wets are holding up kind of all right now, then they're going to be great when it actually does start raining.
Well, Dan McCauley is under pressure here from Martin Shirley. Shirley goes through on the right-hand side, and Shirley takes the race lead, surely. Down the inside of Breitenbach goes Delmont. Those two both on dry tyres. John Roberts has had a bit of an issue at the back. He's on dries. I wonder what happened there. Danny Weir started from the pit lane due to his penalty, and he is in 12th place. Shirley has gained 6 places on lap 1. Adam Delmont's gained 7 on lap 1. He's having an absolute flyer, but the race leader, Martin Shirley, off the line like a scolded cat. But what's that? Look at that. That be rain, I believe. Even though the sun's out on the start-finish straight, we have rain falling from the sky here at Zolder. A little bit further back, there's a little bit of a scrap going on here. Fretwell ahead of Hoyland, and then Pallett, and oh, who's that in there? That's James Holman with them as well. But you can see the rain beginning to fall now, and the question is going to be, how long can they stay out there on dries? If you're Martin Kenyon, you can stay out for the whole race.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a case of how brave are they on that dry tyre. I don't really know where they went for it because, like you said, when we were at Donington Park, it was the more than obvious option after that race to start on the wets, just ride out for a couple of laps and then feel the benefits afterwards. Yeah, Dan McCauley's dropped to 3rd, but the rest of the top 6 will have to pit. Look at the line from Holman on Fretwell. Yeah, the wets aren't working yet, but I think you'd still rather be on them. I think McCauley's blinking as well. That could be an issue. It ended up being his downfall in race 1. Let's hope nothing bad happens in this one.
John Breitenbach there. Great stuff with Jan Osberg side by side through there as Holman. Holman is off. Not sure if he fell or got pushed, but we'll have a quick look. John Roberts has come into the pits and changed tyres already. So he's preempting this, and he's doing that all on his own. Into there goes Holman, and whoop, it just bounces and gets away from him. That's exactly what John Roberts did earlier on. And you're right, Dan McCauley is blinking in and out. Not quite sure what's causing that. I know Dan very well. He's got bulletproof internet, so maybe Michaela's watching Love Island or something. But we've got McCauley and Breitenbach side by side to the chicane. Breitenbach on dries, and he uses that grip advantage to go around him. Look at Hoyland already up into 5th, already up into 4th place. Incredible drive by some of these guys already. But like you say, Dara, they've got an inevitable pit stop to make, haven't they?
Yep, they do. And they're fighting it out now, but it just doesn't feel comfortable to watch because it's going to get even more treacherous for them on the dry tyres with every passing lap. Osberg's now through on Macaulay for P5, so the top 5 are all now on the dries, but it's going to be getting more slippery with every lap. That was that? Yeah, it wasn't Van Ols, was it? Who was that turning in? Holman was turning in a bit on that dry tyre. He's the last of all the dry tyre runners. He needs to get up towards Osberg as quick as he can.
There's a bit of spray coming off the back of the cars now as well, so you can see the water being kicked up, you can see the water being moved away from the windscreens. Martin Shirley leads and he is extending that gap. It's a 2-second lead at the moment, but Dan Macaulay leads the wet tyre runners. Fretwell second and Gregory third in that group. Fretwell has a slowdown penalty, and I think, yeah, James Holman gets one as well as a result of that. So too does James Pallett. So it's interesting to see how the strategies are working out. Hoyland and Breitenbach battling away down at the chicane, both trying to avoid slowdown penalties and avoid contact. Goodness me. Hoyland has given the place back by the look of it. Doesn't want to gain that position through contact. Osberg now moves in front of Macaulay. But again, that's dry tyre moving ahead of wet tyre. And as they go into the Boulderberg box again, Macaulay is late on the brakes, trying to prove the point and keep it round the outside. Saying, go on then. I'll use these wet tyres and I'll use what is effectively a wet racing line, but yeah, unfortunately for Dan, the internet is not doing him any favours. He needs to keep his eye on Alex Fretwell, who, with all the wet weather, I'm sure will quench his thirst for a wet race and a race win. But drivers are coming into the pits already. Already into the pits now comes most of the dry runners. Dan Macaulay has a slowdown penalty out of the last chicane. We can't see any cars yet, Chaz. What sort of camera is this? There they are. They're coming through now. It's all going to start kicking off now. Breitenbach stays out on dries.
That's interesting. I'm sitting here trying to think of a reason why he would. I can't really think of it. Has he forgotten he's on dries? Because, I mean, look at it's a boat now. I mean, ironically, you do get barges just off to the left there.
You do.
But it really does look like he's meant to be on the canal in this right now.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Look at the understeer. Usually this is a car that just turns. But to be fair, even for the wet tyre runners, these conditions, as they are right now, are difficult because it's to the point where the circuit's got wet, but it's not wet enough for the tyre to have a massive advantage over the dries. They've got a bit of an advantage in certain areas as Breitenbach goes straight on. So does Macaulay. That gives an opportunity here to Alex Fretwell as he comes up over the hill. And Ben Gregory behind him gets to slow down. Don't forget, though, if you're at the front, you're the guinea pig. You're the first one to get to a lot of these corners. The first time it's gotten wetter as straight on goes John Breitenbach.
And, I mean, I'm not shocked. It's just not the right tyre to be on, is it? It looks awful. Macaulay's going to get through in a minute, or is he? Oh, God. I mean, Dan was made for conditions like this. He is, of course, Scottish, so he will be loving it right now. Fretwell should come through as well in a minute, but, I mean... Macaulay's gone deep. You just can't tell where he is on the circuit right now.
Yeah.
He's here, there, and everywhere. It's basically magic we're watching at the minute. Fretwell's going to go through on Breitenbach. Macaulay should as well. Breitenbach's going to have to come into the pit lane here, but he's got to be careful not to hit Macaulay in the process because it is a bit of a, Gilles Villeneuve spit-off from the racing line, this pit lane, but just about makes it work, and all of a sudden Fretwell leads. We were talking in race 1 how he was having a bit of a quiet evening so far. No more.
Yeah, no more indeed. Alex Fretwell leads this race. He's had 2 second places so far this season. Both of them coming at Donington as well, which was the last time it rained. But unbelievably, Fretwell has not won a race yet this season. He's had a very difficult season, that's for sure. He is in second in the championship, but it's been a bit of a wild ride to get him up there. And I was going to say, that didn't, I mean, for a driver that would potentially love these conditions, it didn't look like it as Dan got up there. Jean Breitenbach has had to go back into his pit box because he's changed from dries to dries, unfortunately. So that hasn't worked for him. That is not good at all.
I mean, on the the list of unideal things to do in a race like this, I think that's up there, isn't it? To be honest, as he's losing the lead, which Alex Fretwell might do if he's not careful. Dan Macaulay, he's trying to find that inside line. He's trying to just stick his nose there. He will stick his nose there, and then he disappears. Good luck, Alex. Dan's going to get stopped onto the apex. and get ahead before they make their way through. They're basically touching. But Dan is in the lead. I mean, this is just a nightmare scenario for anybody else.
Yeah.
I guess at least they know that if something happens, they can't exactly be held totally liable if they can't see the car before it hits them.
Yeah, it's the thing is, it's not really something that we can, message Dan and say do something about it. I have posted in the Discord explaining to him that's what's going on, but yeah, it's not something they can fix straight away. If he's made aware of it, then he might pull over. I don't know. Delmont late on the brakes down the inside of Martin Shirley into the chicane. Understeer fest. Hello. Delmont gets it done. Hoyland goes to the left-hand side. Great stuff by all three of them there. They all left one another really good room considering the conditions. And now, as they go down the hill, they still have it all sorted out. That was a lovely bit of racing by the three of them as well. Delmont goes a bit deep. Hoyland's going to try and get a cut back. Delmont's going to clip the gravel. God, it looks absolutely painful to get these little cars around this circuit. They're going to hate me after tonight, these guys. They're going to be shouting at me for the remaining week until the next round of the championship. But Dan McCauley leads from Alex Fretwell. And, well, we'll have to see if that continues based on Dan's connection. Oh, the rain seemed to just stop then as the camera panned. Did you notice that?
Yeah. Is it a distance thing? A focus thing?
I don't know. We'll do this live, look. This is how it works, you see. So you can edit the camera and you can do something called... Where is it? Clip distance. Boom. Rain. There you are. So yeah, maybe it is a distance thing.
Yeah.
But I do have it
because I know
set
that
up.
we've done exactly that. What you've just done, we've done that before after the broadcast went, oh, that was that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll do it here, look. We'll do it again. Clip distance here is close, so that's all right. That one's correct.
There we go.
I always tell people my broadcasting is as honest as it can be. I will always show people stuff like that. I think we've got to do it again as we come down into the hairpin in a moment. But it's why I always bang the drum that the onboard cameras are the best ones for wet weather conditions. They really do look cool with all the rain hitting the windscreen wipers going, especially when there's a bit of spray from cars in front as well. It's fantastic. But God, it really looks like they're struggling.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't look comfortable at all, does it? In these machines, it is heavily, heavily raining as they work their way now down into the final couple of corners. McCauley just about in the lead. He's got a second and a half. It's more comfortable than it was a minute or so ago. Ben Gregory there as well. He's had a good couple of weeks. He's looking to try and replicate a little bit of that success, and he's there lurking in P3. I mean, it's funny because we've kind of got an F1 and F2 in this, don't we? With Delmont, Hoyland and Shirley 40 seconds behind P7, but all in the battle together. Yeah. After they started on what, in the end, has clearly been the wrong strategy. So it's kind of a race for the top 7 and then the rest. But for the likes of Pallett and Weir, it's a great chance for big points.
Look at that, late on the brakes by Hoyland around the outside. You can see there's so much rubber on that inside line. It's like an ice rink. You can see the shiny parts of the circuit. We'll go back on board with Hoyland again as they run down towards the chicane. You can see the puddles on the outside of the circuit forming. But look at the racing line through this chicane here. Watch how shiny it is, where all the rubber's been laid down before, and the water's just sitting on top of it. Look at that. It's just floating along there. That's why you see drivers a lot of the time in wet conditions using the outside line of the circuit to make sure that they get more grip than the driver they're chasing. They sometimes have to just take a wider line just because there's no rubber out there. You might get a bit of the marbles or something, sure, but you just have to run a little bit wider. There's an absolute lake on the inside of that chicane now, but the guys are getting used to the conditions. Van Alsty's going really well. He's gained 8 places so far in this race. James Pallett running in 5th position right now, for now. Runs a little bit wide there. James hoping for his best result of the season. We've only had him for a couple of rounds. We had him for Okayama and then Donington. But he scored his first points back at Donington with a 13th place. I'm sure that if he can hold on to at least a couple of positions, he and Danny Weir will score their best results of the season. Danny currently down in 18th in the championship standings. Best result for him, a 9th place so far, and that was race 3 at Donington, funnily enough.
Which is, of course, the last time we had rain, isn't it? Or the last circuit that we had rain out. So a little bit of that running theme there. Here comes Adam Delmont on the back of Matt Hoyland in towards this chicane, right around the outside. He's not going to get that stop, surely. No, Hoyland will cover it off in the second part. And then Delmont just drives off the road. So that'll hinder his chances a touch, but give Matt a little bit more breathing room. 6 minutes to go. I think we'll get squeeze a 4th lap in here.
I reckon so. Dan McCauley still leads this race, even with the invisibility cloak. Look at the amount of water on the inside there. You can see it splash up behind him. Let's see if Sam Van Os triggers that as well. No, he doesn't. Ben Gregory just dipped a wheel onto it. You can see just how much water gets splashed up on the inside there as they go across that bit of the track. Watch Danny Weir. He doesn't really kick much of it up. We'll hope that somebody does, just to prove my point. But on the inside there, just where that curb is, there's a massive big splash of water. It's incredible to see. Dan McCauley then, through the chicane. That was sideways on the way in, and that's given him a slowdown penalty. That gives Alex Fretwell opportunity to chase him down. And again, both cars either side of Fretwell getting slowdown penalties. God, look at the amount of water on the line down there. Goodness me, it is an absolute river into that chicane.
Doesn't look fun to drive on, that's for sure. But
rather them than
make
me.
it through. Yeah, exactly. You'd be worried in your road car if you were going at these speeds on this kind of surface, wouldn't you? Thankfully, they don't have to worry about their personal safety, even if they do spear off the road in this virtual reality. I mean, it's basically a sea down there, isn't it? I mean, there's standing water everywhere. It sort of reminds me of Le Mans a couple of years ago. I think it just started raining at Indianapolis on Arnage, absolutely bucketing it down. Absolutely bone dry at the start-finish straight, and they come, I think it was Scott Dixon in their LMP2, just arrived on the scene and it loses it, and they all lose it. There's about 8 of them into the...
I remember seeing that.
Examples, but that just sticks out in my brain. Feels like we're driving on that at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely that setting, isn't it? I remember on the old F1 97 games, even F1 Challenge, you could choose, rain or monsoon was actually a setting, because, because even back then, it was still pretty much, they would not cancel or stop the race for anything. It wasn't like it is nowadays. It's Jack making a good point there. There are slowdown penalties in this, but there's been a good number of them, and because the slower pace, the slowdowns aren't done relatively, I guess. But it's a shame that it doesn't really affect things as much, because we have seen McCauley and Gregory both get a number of them. Fretwell hasn't had too many, but it's been difficult for Fretwell to sort of stay with them, even with the slowdowns, which is a shame. There is, goodness me, bit of a wiggle there from James Pallett, and he's going to lose to Danny Weir potentially. No, gets back in front of him. Whoa, Stuart Clark having the same thing in the background. Danny Weir looks down the inside, says, go on then, I'll have some of that. Pallett just gives him a reminder that he's still there. The top 3 of the top 4 getting slowdown penalties. There is going to be a special sort of look at things by the stewards to make sure that nobody is taking the slowdown penalties and gaining positions. Obviously, you could argue the case for hours on end of gaining an advantage and stuff off track. Good God. But you can see just how much it pulls the car to the side, can't you?
Yeah, it just does not look easy to drive. And with the steering input that you put into these cars, which is quite, look into the chicane, it's quite minimal, realistically speaking. When you're getting pulled, you then want to then correct that, but you can then barely put in any input into the steering to correct it, otherwise you're going to go around. So it's even more difficult to then to catch moments like that. Delmont is going to send it on the inside. That's brave to do it there, goodness me. And won't in the end, but he's nearly scared Matt Hoyland off the road, and has scared Matt Hoyland off the road. And I think this is the chance, and it is. And Delmont's through. There's a lot of contact, but Delmont is through.
Yeah, Hoyland just tries to rejoin as best he can. The two of them sideways through the right-hander. Incredible to watch, but not the quickest way about it. I think we'll have this lap and one more. Look at them avoiding all that standing water on the right. Delmont's gone straight on. Has he? No. How did he get that stop there? The car was not in a straight line on the brakes. And this car, similar to the Volkswagen Jetta that we used to broadcast in the British Boring Car Championship, and that Jack himself has broadcast as the Racing Line Jetta TDI Cup, you really, really have to be careful, because as soon as that car gets the slightest bit sideways, it just doesn't brake, basically. And the Clio is quite similar, and as soon as the rear end is trying to do something different to the front, it will not brake. Another slowdown penalty for Dan McCauley, and he's going to serve that over the top of the hill. Fretwell will, I imagine, gain a bit of the time back at least, but Yeah, it's been certainly rife with them. I mean, it's rife in the dry, isn't it? Anyway, Dara, they've got to be really careful. As, flying formation between the two teammates. Shirley running wide at turn 1.
Yep, Holman will get through. That's P10 then. Don't know if that was choreographed or not, but either way, I doubt it. Holman is into the top 10. I think we're going to get one more off this. Yeah, we are, because Dan McCauley's just about to come in towards turn 10. So we'll definitely get to the line in time before we start, or before the timer hits 0, to start what will be the final lap. And you feel at the front, if anything's going to change, it'll be this little battle between Fretwell and Gregory over P2. But there's still a decent amount of time between them at the moment.
There is indeed. We go on the nose cam of Ben Gregory's Clio. You can see just how much the cars want to swap ends. Even as a little front-wheel drive car, they really want to just wobble past one another. Hoyland and Holman both getting slow-down penalties a bit further down the order. But there's 1 lap to go in the second race of the night. It's quite funny, really, because we obviously added wet races in because it's, well, something different. It's something you get in the real world. Can be quite action-packed and a bit topsy-turvy. But they've actually turned out the 2 wet races have been 2 of the dullest races of the season.
I think it's just more of a case of everyone's just trying to survive in them, aren't they? Just trying to make sure that they don't spear off the road and into the barriers, which is very easy to do here, particularly in these conditions. So,
Hello.
yeah, could spice it up there. Van Alst does have still a chance at P2. This is a good exit as well. It's not a good exit from Gregory. Looked like there was almost, I don't think there was contact, but he's just wiggling everywhere. And he's going to lose out before the braking zone is. He's going to send it back down into the ears, and this is going to be treacherous and towards the chicane.
Oh, Sam's tried to carry it around. He's kept it and got it to the apex. Fair play to Ben. Gives him the room as well. That was really lovely racing from the 2 of them. I think Ben got his left-hand wheels in the rut on the left-hand side and in the river on the exit of Lucien Bianchi box, and he was trying to get it back on. Sam was great. Gave him all the room in the world to come back on. The 2 of them still trying to make it work through the chicane. They're leaning on each other. A biff this way, a biff that way. Ben's going to try the cutback. He's going to make that work as well. Really feisty stuff from the 2 of them. They're going to be side by side through there. Nearly contact. Van Alst gets to position. But that was really, really feisty stuff from those 2. Great to see that. That looked like really good hard racing right until the end. Are they going to keep it tidy now into the Boulderberg box? Looks like it. And up the road, I think the blinking has stopped, to be fair. So luckily, Oakley the dog has stopped chewing the Ethernet cable. And he is now, well, he being Dan McCauley, is heading into the final corner. And this is going to be only his 2nd race win of the season in CDM Clio Cup, but it's one that he's going to be really grateful to take. McCauley wins at Zolder in the very, very wet conditions, and Dan uses his real-world racing experience to the fullest there. Fretwell 2nd ahead of Van Alst and Gregory. Danny Weir is going to get his best result of the season. What about James Pallett just behind him? Is James going to get his best result of the season? I think he's going to just hold off Stuart Clark until the end, and he's going to do it. Danny Weir finishes 5th, his best result of the season, and so too for James Pallett. Some big championship points for both of them. Stuart Clark again in an absolute nail-biting finish right to the line. And the next drivers to cross the line will be Adam Delmont and Matt Hoyland. It seems like they just didn't make the right call this time, Dara. And I think if we have another wet race, which unfortunately for the rest of the season we don't, the guys would know what to do now.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it just comes down to that strategy mishap for them. You know, they've driven a good race outside of that, but that's what's held them back. 8th, 9th and 10th for Delmont, Hoyland and Holman. And they'll cross the line, they'll pick up the points, and they will head, I think, to race 3. I think they're the guys that are most likely to have a bit of a break in this warm-up session and just kind of reset themselves before the start of the 3rd and final race of the evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they will. They'll want to pull it over, and that'll be job done. But the guys are asked to complete in laps after races 2 and 3, just to make sure. John Roberts still giving it a bit of enthusiastic weaving across the line, and he finishes in 12th place, and that will be the race for the 2nd race of the night, complete here at Zolder. And you can see, look, the circuit will dry out slightly now. There is time between these sessions, so it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The final race will be at 4:30 in Sim, so there will be a bit of drying out done between then and now. The drivers will head out in this session, I'm sure, to check the conditions, but we'll just have a quick look at the results. This was the first race. Matt Hoyland took the win, 5.6 seconds clear of James Holman and Sam Van Ulst, with Adam Delmont finishing in 4th place, Ben Gregory in 5th, and John Breitenbach in 6th place. Then it was Fretwell in 7th, ahead of Martin Shirley, and look at that, pretty much a dead heat between Stuart Clark and Jan Osberg. Stuart taking that in the end and getting that extra championship point. Danny Weir finished in 11th ahead of John Roberts, with Dan McCauley just scoring 3 points there, and James Pallett getting some more points by finishing 14th. Dara, why don't you take it away with race number 2?
And it was Dan McCauley who won out in the end, the Scotsman getting enough of a gap ahead of Alex Fretwell to make it a bit calmer in the final couple of laps, but Fretwell did indeed finish in 2nd. Home hero Sam Van Ulst rounded out the podium ahead of Ben Gregory and Danny Weir. He'll be delighted with P5, I'm sure, as will James Pallett, the man from Jersey, picking up P6. Stuart Clark was the last of the drivers to be on the right strategy from the start, and he'll end up in 7th, with Delmont, Hoyland and Holman going on the wrong strategy, ending up inside the top 10. Martin Shirley and John Roberts were still on the lead lap despite their difficulties in the race, but for Breitenbach and Osberg, Breitenbach of course forgetting what tyre to go on to for Osberg a couple of spins, they were a lap down but still scoring some points.
Yeah, Danny, we're clearly very happy with the points that he has scored. Matt Hoyland, I think, has been speeding in the pit lane or something, but he's... oh, I can hear rain. I can't see any, which is weird. I think maybe it might be an audio thing from the camera, but either way, we have drivers on track, and we have cars on track for the warm-up session. The drivers will just be making the most of that for a couple of minutes, but before we do, we just wanted to touch on the fact that the Formula CDM series will be back in a couple of weeks' time. The Formula CDM Oceania series is the next edition up, and we've got a little advert for that for you right here. The Formula CDM Oceania series returns very, very soon. The 12th of August will be the team draw, and we also have pre-season testing going on at Suzuka on the same night, and then a straight 8-round championship. Okayama, Fuji, Phillip Island, The Bend, Adelaide, which I'm really excited for, just near my birthday as well, and then Bathurst for round 6, while we then go back to Japan for Motegi and Suzuka to complete the season. It's bound to be a fantastic, fantastic tour. Should be really, really good fun to watch. We are going to just go quiet for a couple of minutes here while we just grab a drink and so on, and we will be back with you in just a couple of moments' time here on Chaz Draycott Media. Hello again, everybody. Chaz, Draycott and Dara Thacker here for the CDM Clio Cup at Zolder. And Dara, we've just enjoyed a very interesting wet race with some mixed results, but great points for James Pallett and Danny Weir. Still one more race to go now on a drying track. This could be quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun when the track gets wetter because the change is so dramatic generally. But going the other way, it's a little bit more gradual and more difficult to read for the drivers. So interesting to see how they can approach this one. The warm-up session won't really have told them a whole lot, which is more fun for us up here, isn't it? So it's kind of what we want, is them going into the unknown. But it's 20 more minutes to get another winner tonight.
Absolutely, should be a very interesting final race. The grid will be the same as the race 2 results, so it'll be Dan McCauley starting on pole position, and the driver that came here as the championship leader, I'm sure, will be very, very happy with that. He does have right behind him, though, on the grid, Alex Fretwell. He's the driver hoping to chase him down in the championship. Same with Sam Van Olst. Ben Gregory will start in 4th place. Then it's Danny Weir and James Pallett hoping to hold on to those positions after a great second race of the night. Stuart Clark and Adam Delmont make up row 4. Adam having a pretty strong debut so far. Then it's Matt Hoyland and James Holman. That's not going to get confusing during this final race. Then it's Martin Shirley and John Roberts, with John Breitenbach and Jan Osberg hoping to make up for lost ground in that second race of the evening. Just the driver on home soil left to go, and it looks bone dry, Dara.
It does, so maybe it's not the kind of drying track that we were hoping for. Maybe we'll see a bit of spray kicked up, but we're going to find out in a minute. Dan McCauley's going to have the best view of turn 1. He started on P2 for race 2, P1 for race 3. Is it going to be the same outcome, and does he lead into turn 3?
And Adam Delmont will be starting from the pit lane because he has accidentally loaded into this one on wet tyres. He's in the pit lane on dries, but the final race of the night in the CDM Clio Cup gets underway. Nice and chilled start. It's a very easy launch by the look of it. Looks like Alex Fretwell's got a really good run down to the first corner, and he tries to stay side by side with Dan McCauley. Stuart Clark down the inside of James Pallett, who brakes very hard, catches Matt Hoyland off guard. Matt round the outside of Stuart. Jan Osberg has gained 3 places off the start. He's 3 wide with John Breitenbach and John Roberts. Pallett covers the inside from Martin Shirley. There's a little bit of a kiss there from Osberg and Roberts. But the top 2 breaking away. Dan McCauley and Alex Fretwell. Sam Van Olst and Ben Gregory are the next 2 to chase them down. Circuit looks bone dry now. A little puddle on the outside here and there. Just there. Goodness me, boys. Wild ride.
Yeah, that didn't look particularly fun, did it, through turn 3, but they've all made it through. And it will be McCauley who continues to lead them into this chicane. Fretwell, Van Olst are just in behind, and then nearly 3 wide. It's inside line for John Breitenbach. Can he get it stopped in time? I think he does, with James Pallett just in behind, trying to hold on now from Martin Shirley as they rise up towards the crest at turn 7. And they're just trying to follow each other. It does not look like a fun time to be a part of that one. Pallett still defending. Shirley going to squeeze it towards the inside line. Are they going to make it out alive? It looks like they will do. Oh, no, they won't. There's a little bit of a tap, but they just about managed to catch it. Incredible work by Shirley, but he's got to slow down, so it's still not over yet.
Yeah, I think Pallett there had to back out of that one. He didn't want to make the contact, and he just ran a little bit deep into the second part of the chicane. Osberg all over the back of him. There's a bit of movement here. That's James Holman down the inside of Danny Weir. Pallett, unfortunately, after finishing 6th earlier, has not had the race to remember. There's been more drama into this hairpin. Let's have a little ganders at what's gone on here. I think John Roberts was the one that benefited from it, and he was the one that was at the back of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. You could just see it there. I mean, yeah, a bit of a squeeze, wasn't it? But then it's never going to pick your bones out of that early on from that angle. But I think both will be shouting at each other in that situation. On the opening lap, Van Olst, good exit against Alex Fretwell. Fretwell defending the inside line, but all of this driving, all of this defensive driving is allowing Dan McCauley to get a bit of breathing space very early on in this one.
Yeah, Alex will really not want Sam to be attacking him like this because he's forcing him to defend at this point. He'll be screaming at him, just saying, look, mate, leave me alone, and that will help him because Sam's got onto that horrible wet line on the outside, and now he can move further forward to go chasing after Dan McCauley. John Breitenbach and Danny Weir side by side in the middle of the field there, just behind the white car of Stuart Clark. John Breitenbach moves back over to the right-hand side, back onto the racing line. Interesting conditions this, because, like I say, it is dry, but there is water here and there that they still need to avoid. We've seen it drag a number of drivers across very quickly. That moment for Ben Gregory on the opening lap was terrifying. We'll have a look at what the chicane looks like. There's still a puddle on the inside, but yeah, imaginary support series have pushed that water away throughout the couple of hours between race 2 and race 3. Fretwell's still under pressure though from Sam van Olst. He'll want Gregory to arrive on the scene sooner rather than later, and with Hoyland there as well, he'll want them all to start scrapping behind him so he can go chasing Macaulay. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case at this current moment, but Dan looking for 2 wins on the same night. He'd be so lucky, and that would be very helpful for his championship lead.
Yeah, certainly would be. We'll have to wait and see if that will hold up in the end. For his championship aspirations, with of course only 2 rounds, 6 races to go at the end of this. Matt Hoyland fastest lap, faster than Dan Macaulay at the front of the race, and that's a free P4 because Ben Gregory has just completely forgotten which way the track goes here at Zolder and gone deep at turn. Was he just serving that slowdown? Not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think it was slowdown behaviour.
Okay.
That was for.
I take it all back.
Ben.
I'm sorry, Ben. I was being harsh.
I thought that was harsh.
Yeah, sorry. No, it was harsh because I didn't understand what's going on, and that is my fault. John Breitenbach, right at the back of Stuart Clark for P7 and P8. John, of course, trying to recover after the difficulties he had in race 2, therefore starting towards the back. Sean started in P7 and has held that so far, so a decent, first couple of laps for him.
Oh, hold it, cowboy!
Whoa!
Oh my God, John Roberts!
Mechanical bulls, that goodness me.
Normally we can tell the boosted cars, wow, he's carrying on. Normally,
is he just going to put? What is this, a circus act? What's going on?
John Roberts is going to be sponsored by Nitro Circus by the end of this. Normally we can tell the boosted motorsport cars apart by the colour on the back of them. Usually John's is green, now it's going to be brown. Goodness me, what's he doing, John? Jan Osberg is going to be making the same noises as Dara at this point. Good God, that was absolutely unbelievable. We didn't even get to. Oh, I did get to see it. Well, let's see if we can go further back. I want to just watch this from Jan's point of view. Look how far away he was at the start of the lap. It was that water. I mean, we did say, didn't we, that is treacherous stuff, and John found out. I hope he's not on a direct drive wheel, or his entire room will be on its side. Good God, he's sideways there. Look.
Yeah, sideways through turn 2, then through turn 3, it's okay. And then, God, I can't wait for turn 4. Here we go, up we come. Let's see, into the corner, touches that water, then he gets a little bit wide, then there's water on the outside. Oh, he can't see anything really. Look at that, trying to hold it. Just about makes his way through. How much airtime can we see?
Jan lifted.
Yeah, Jan lift, and then watch this. He goes, no, you're not coming down the inside. I'm going airborne. Goodness me. I don't know what he's had to eat or something, or maybe something to drink during the break, but it's clearly scared him or something. I'm not sure. Then you get this as well. Into the corner. There's the rear end. Off you go. What's happened to John Roberts?
Ride him, cowboy. Oh, we get to see it from his onboard now. This will be even scarier. Hold your monitors down, everyone, or your TV, whatever you're watching on, because bloody Nora, look at it. God, it's like a special stage in Rally Mediterraneo. Goodness me. Dan Macaulay with a slowdown penalty at the front of the pack, and that is going to drop him right back into this group now. It's Fretwell, Van Olst, Hoyland and Gregory all trying to gain ground on him, and none of them are separated by more than 6.5 tenths of a second. There's still 13 minutes left of this race, and if John Roberts survives it, then surely these lot can.
Well, I mean, John Roberts survived it on his own. If these guys start going together into these wet patches, then who knows? End of lap 4 then. 12.5 minutes to go. Ben Gregory's just in behind Matt Hoyland, who is going to the outside line on Sam van Olst. Surely you can't work it all the way through there. And in the end won't tries to cut back a little bit for turn 2. Holman set the fastest lap of the race in P6 as he tries to rock up to this train of 5 at the front. But every single evening this season, we've had at least one race where there's been a bit of a melee for the front, and I think we've left it till the last race tonight, Chaz.
For the stewarding part of me hopes not. John Tusting saying that.
You can't wait, can you?
Oh God, He was saying that was very un-Roberts. He's normally steady and calm. He says they only normally give up to 5 or 6 incidents in a full 24-hour race, and he's seen him doing that stuff. Someone should check on him. Yeah, I think John might have had a rough day. That security camera's nice. John's had a bit of a rough day. Look at Holman here. Holman's gained 4 places from 10th on the grid. And he could very well be part of this as well before long. He is flying. Van Olst with a slowdown. Oh, Holman's got one now. Never mind. Let's see how Van Olst serves this.
Well, the options are kind of limited, aren't they? You'd think maybe on the entry into... Yeah, that's where you do it. I think that's the smartest place. Don't really hinder your exit as Ben Gregory flashes away. I think Van Olst has done well there. He's given Hoyland the position, but in the end, he's kind of controlled the damage. This is Delmont and Osberg. Delmont obviously really quite fast at the start of the evening, hasn't been able to replicate that in races 2 and 3, but we'll get to the inside and we'll get ahead for P11.
For now, I mean, Osberg's going to have the inside line down into... Never mind. Into the chicane. I thought there was still an overlap there. I absolutely... I can't tell you the words for what I nearly did then. That is unbelievable. He just swiped hard right. I thought we were surely going to see Adam Delmont start his own involuntary space program, but he managed to not be leathered in the rear bumper. Right, battle going on between Sam Van Olst and Ben Gregory. Both of these guys pretty feisty. They came to blows at Jerez, and I know that they will want to have a nice clean battle and potentially a podium each here. You can see, look how different the line is that they're taking there to make sure they avoid that water on the left-hand side of the circuit. They really are making sure they cling it to the inside. That poor front left tyre is going to be battered by the end of this. Everyone trying to keep it tidy through that chicane. Top 5 separated by just 1.9 seconds here, Dara. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's exactly what we want to be seeing as well, isn't it? To be honest, because we want to have all of these guys together, fighting it out towards the end. Van Olst is going to have to serve another slowdown, and he's going to need another position for it, isn't he, really? He's going to do exactly the same thing he did last time by. But more of them are creeping in, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. And Ben knows where he's going to serve it. Look, he moved over to the right-hand side of the circuit there to make sure that Van Olst slowed down on the left-hand side. And Holman, we are on board with him now, running in 6th place. He's getting closer and closer to these guys. I want to compare the lap times to all of the drivers ahead of him as, potential. Oh, I think Dan had a little bit of a blink there for a moment. Dan and I, obviously, everyone knows me and Dan are good friends, but he came up with the idea that he's left his phone on loud, so if it starts blinking badly during this race, I've just got to ring him. So if his phone goes off, he'll pull over, because he doesn't want to be affecting other people's races. Obviously, he didn't have the chance to know that between, well, races 1 and 2, because you stay in the rig, basically. But it seems like a battle is erupting here. Look at that, Hoyland down the inside of Fretwell. Lovely move, that by Matt Hoyland. Very nicely done. Is he going to get it cleared? He is. That was gorgeous. Very tasty.
It was lovely. Indeed tasty through turn 2 there. Hoyland... that's less so, isn't it? And that noise, definitely not. As you run the way down in towards the 5-6 chicane. Hoyland, I mean, he's just worked his way up into P2. He gained a couple of almost free positions. By a couple of people going wide or a slowdown. And now he's in P2. He's worked his way there. And it's the race 1 winner versus the race 2 winner for the race 3 win, by the looks of it.
It's boring, isn't it, repeat winners? I should just let Fretwell win one. But to be fair, Fretwell... He's, of all the drivers we've got on track, I'm most surprised that out of all of them, Fretwell hasn't won a race this season. You could argue he was in with a shout of winning at Jerez before he got turned. He had that incident towards the end of the race. There was a bit of contact after they all tried to sort it out with a rejoin and all sorts, and it was a massive shame not to have Fretwell in the fight for the win there. But he's had a number of second places so far this season, and he is second in the Drivers' Championship. However, with Dan McCauley in that Series 1 racing machine in front of him, that's the last thing he wants right now. He'll have gained a few points back on him through race 1, of course, but race 2 and 3 both going the way of McCauley so far. I think the net gain is going to be on the Scotsman's side. So Fretwell, he won't be wishing anything on his opponent, of course, because that's not how we do things, but he'll be hoping that Hoyland can at least get one over on him, or at least drag him back into that fight, rather than Ben Gregory having to go at him.
Yeah, wouldn't want that. And Ben Gregory is a potent figure. Oh, as you can see, through turn 3 they go. Nearly touching, but they just about managed to get away with it. Fretwell just ahead, still in that final podium paying position. Gregory looking though to go to the outside line, down in towards the 6-7 chicane. Is there a move he can pull off through there? He'd be hard pressed in the dry, but he's going to break a little bit later. Try and squeeze Fretwell to that inside line, but to no avail. And in the end, it's going to be Sam Vanels with a great exit, and Holman with a better one. Can he get both of them off the exit? He's got around the outside of Gregory. He's going to have the run on Van Alst as well. I don't think he's going to be able to get the Belgian, but he's got past Gregory, and all of a sudden Gregory, who was momentarily P3, is now down in 6th.
And Dan McCauley has lost the race lead to Matt Hoyland as well. Dan McCauley got a slowdown penalty through the chicane, so Hoyland leads in car 44. He's having a whale of a time here tonight in Belgium after having one of his worst drives back at Jerez. He's certainly bounced back, and he will be really pleased with that. But yeah, you're right, the move was very nearly on for Ben Gregory, but then all of a sudden he had side-by-side with Sam Van Alst and Alex Fretwell, and that was that. This is the moment. He gets a really good run over onto the right-hand side of Fretwell. I thought they left each other plenty of room. They got a little bit close here, but I think there's a bit of water on the way into the chicane that he didn't want to touch there. Oh, yeah. Van Alst, look at this, through on the left. Good stuff by Ben there to keep the car in the middle of the road, and then Holman around the outside. Wow. It's amazing how quickly that all transpired, but it's still going on. Fretwell still holds 3rd place at the moment. Van Alst next up, Holman 5th after gaining 5 places. And Gregory into 6th place. Great racing between all of them, though. And you know what? A lot of respectful space given. Fantastic driving.
Yeah, it really has been an impressive move through the field for Matt Hoyland, but good driving from everyone around him as well to kind of allow this battle to continue late into the race. 15 minutes have elapsed. I think there's going to be 4 laps to go, including this one. But Hoyland has put himself in the best position possible, and whereas no one else has been able to pull their way through the field consistently, he's gone from the back of this train to the front, and is now stretching it. So full credit to him.
Yeah, Macaulay, Fretwell and Van Alst 2nd, 3rd and 4th at the moment. Started 1st, 2nd and 3rd on the grid. Holman started in 10th place. Hoyland started in 9th place. So Holman and Hoyland are the ones here that are having the better races of this 5 now at the front, because Ben Gregory, unfortunately, has got on another slowdown, and it seems to be really holding him back as well. He's down to 6th place, and he's got about, 2.5 seconds now to James Holman. John Breitenbach's going well. 6 places gained for him. Martin Shirley is again moving up the order. He's gone from 11th up into 9th. Adam Delmont's having a bit of a tricky final race, considering how well Adam went. He obviously started at the back of the grid in this one, in the pit lane on the wrong tyre. He got the tyres changed before the start of the race, but it's just not come his way, has it?
No, it's not. It's unfortunate. But yeah, just not been able to, pick up the points that I think the pace would have otherwise given him the chance for. So, yeah, unfortunate. James Holman set another fast lap of the race from 5th again, mind you.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on an absolute tear right now. I mean, even in clean air, he's going quicker. Or even with Hoyland in clean air, I should say, he's going quicker than him. So mightily impressive. Fretwell may lose P3 to Van Alst this time. Inside line then for the Belgian as they work their way through 4. There's some contact once, twice, maybe 3 times, not quite as they get to the exit. Surely Holman's not going to stick his nose in here. He's going to bump draft Van Alst maybe momentarily to try and give him a good shot. Back off a bit early, let them battle it out through the chicane, and then get the better exit. It's worked once, can it work again? He's going to get the best exit. The 3, find the right line. They're going to be 3 wide, I think, in towards turn 8. Can he find the right line? It'll be on the outside, though. Oh, God.
Oh, he's going for it. Oh, no, there's contact, and Holman's sideways.
What save?
Fantastic save across the chicane. It's going to be the mother of all slowdowns, but yeah, 3 wide just wasn't going to work, and unfortunately Holman is the one that loses out. Fretwell goes back round the outside. Van Alst tries to get the run on him, down towards Boulderbird Bocht. Not sure if it's going to work or not. Fretwell's going to defend the inside line. That'll be a very, very tough one to call for the stewards, I think, because, I mean, Fretwell was always going to go left a bit into the chicane, but with the water and everything there, the cars do squirrel around a little bit. But to be fair, the main thing there is that Holman has carried on, I suppose. At least he's still in the race. It's just he's lost that group and he's still having to serve that slowdown. Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been the kindest to him, has it? And unsurprisingly so. But it's unfortunate that it's taken him out of kind of the contention for that battle, because it was a really good attempt from him to go around the outside. It just feels like Fretwell. Well, we'll see from this angle, won't we?
Yeah, we will. I mean, they all did a really good job to get around there 3 wide, but then I think just on the brakes, Fretwell is going a little bit left, isn't he? It's hard to see from an angle that isn't straight behind the cars, but it was always risky to have 3 wide, especially here at Zolder, which is one of the narrowest circuits in the world. You know, there's certain places that are a bit wider, but yeah, this is it's a tricky place to overtake. Like we said at the start of the broadcast, anything bigger than these Clios, and you're really going to struggle to get any 2 wide racing at all. But the race continues on. They're still in it. Fretwell's still in front of Van Alst. Van Alst backs out of that one, tries to focus on the run. Fretwell's gone straight on. Overdoes it on the way in, and Van Alst is going to say, thank you very much. I will take 3rd position. He flashes him just to let him know that I'm definitely coming through. As, Fretwell not serving it just yet. He's doing it on the way into the chicane. Pulls back in front of Holman. Not too bad at all, that. And Gregory now wants a piece of this as well. He's suddenly in the mix. Oh, just behind them, John Breitenbach. He ran wide in the background there. He was getting excited about this opportunity, I think. And he's just had that little moment. Holman gets a bit of a kiss there from Gregory. Ben's got his nose down the inside on the left. Now Fretwell, he's going to have to serve that slowdown sooner rather than later. It's gone. 36 seconds left, Dara. What?
Yeah, why are there 5 slowdowns? Bottom 8, bottom 7. Oh my gosh, it's like a Christmas tree. It's sliding up that much. Hoyler's going to come around the final couple of corners. He will see the white flag fly and get us started on the final lap tonight. Where's Barney? Is he there? Is he there? Is he invisible? Well, we can't see him, but he's there, waving the white flag. Letting us know that there's one more tour of this circuit to go. Still a battle for P3, mainly P4 though, behind Fretwell with Holman and Gregory in tow. But it all comes down to this, Chaz.
Does indeed. Fretwell holds on for now in front of him, and all Holman will need is a really good run out of turn 3, the Lucien Bianchi box, and he will get that done. Sorry, turn 4, the Lucien Bianchi box. It'd be great if I could count, but I can tell you because the graphic tells me that Holman's in 5th place and he wants 4th. He wants a sniff at the podium on his first full night of racing with us here in the championship. And Simon Price saying he's getting Forza PTSD from the top 2, Hoyland and Macaulay. We play Forza Horizon 6 together on my YouTube channel, and a lot of the time it is Hoyland and Macaulay that are the ones that are dominating things there. Side by side here between Stuart Clark and John Breitenbach. John will be ruining the mistake that he made on the previous lap. Oh, goodness me. Look at Martin Shirley. He's got nowhere to go. So he just pushes Stuart out of the chicane. Says, get on with it. Come on, crack on. Down into the chicane, Dara. Close stuff.
Yeah, nearly 3 wide. It's Breitenbach on the inside line, trying to go through on Stuart Clark, but then you've also got Shirley in there as well, going around the outside of the South African. Will get that move done. Good work from Martin Shirley. Does he have time? Does he have the pace to try and pick off Stuart Clark as well? We'll wait and see. Meanwhile, Fretwell trying to hold on to P5. Brent Gregory trying to walk it around the outside. Not going to work through there. And he's going to have one more chance, one more braking zone to get that done, but no one is going to be able to catch Matt Hoyland at the front.
Well, he won a race back at Donington earlier in the season, and he's won 2 on the bounce here at Zolder tonight. What a night for both of these guys, but what a night for Matt Hoyland. 2 wins at Zolder. Macaulay extends his championship lead with a 2nd place after a difficult start to the night. Sam Van Alst back on the podium for another 3rd place for him. James Holman, what a debut night that is. He finishes 4th ahead of Alex Fretwell. Then Ben Gregory in 6th position. Stuart Clark just finishes ahead of Martin Shirley and John Breitenbach. And then behind them, Adam Delmont with a very, very interesting debut night for him. Then it's Danny Weir and Jan Osberg next up. But what can you say? Matt Hoyland, I wouldn't say a surprise winner, but he's never a driver that comes into a race meeting with the world of confidence, is Matt. And I tell you, he'll be over the moon to have had that. Sure, race 2 didn't quite go his way, finishing 9th, but 2 race wins. He's going to be over the moon, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He's going to have, I think, a very positive outlook on the next couple of weeks to round out the season. It's been really as good as it could be. Apart from that mistake on the strategy that he made in race 2, it's been a pretty flawless evening from Matt Hoyland tonight.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from Hoyland. 2 trophies, 2 race wins, and I know that he will be really pleased. Hopefully we get to speak to him in just a moment's time. The final race result of the night then, Matt Hoyland, 25 more championship points. Dan McCauley extends his championship advantage over the likes of Alex Fretwell, Sam Van Alst as well. Van Alst finishes on his home race on the podium, so he'll be pretty pleased with that. Holman finishes in 4th. He's had a great first night with us for the duration. Alex Fretwell finishes 5th, thinking maybe what might have been. Ben Gregory was 6th. It was good to see him back in the mix again. Stuart Clark, again, under the radar, but scoring big points. Martin Shirley had a pretty solid night as well. So too did John Breitenbach and Adam Delmont. Great to have him with us. Hopefully he sticks around for the remainder of the season. Danny Weir got some big points tonight. He was 11th, ahead of Jan Osberg and John Roberts. And James Pallett will pretty much triple or maybe even quadruple his tally of points going into the last couple of race meetings this season. But down the pit lane they come, Dara. And that was a very, very good night, wasn't it? Really, really exciting stuff to watch.
Yeah, great racing up and down the field. In the dry, in the wet, and back in the dry again. So positive and sets us up well, I think, with 2 more weeks to go. Everyone kind of knows where they are in the championship, or will know going into next week, who they're going to be fighting, what their targets are, and it kind of focuses the mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. We will skip things back a little bit to the beginning of the race, and we will get some music on, and we will speak to some drivers, see who is around for a quick chinwag, because that was a belter. And I think, oh, of course, we've got a... Oh, there you go. He's already happy. Me! What a night you've had, Sunshine. You must be beaming.
Oh, I am. You know when you get greedy, you have a bit of success, you get greedy, I'm like, what if I put wets on in second race? But no, that third race was just... That's the drive I've been wanting all season. That's the race I've been wanting, and I've finally put it together. I didn't get any contacts with anyone, no license points for me, and I got 2 wins. Yeah, absolutely over the moon.
Good stuff, mate. And I mean, you did it on merit, obviously, in race 1 as well, with qualifying on pole, lights to flag win. It doesn't go much easier than that, I guess, but with these guys behind, you start to keep it up at a pretty high pace, don't you?
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, they sort of made it easy for me in race 1, I think. I think there was definitely at least 3 other cars that should have been up there with me, but from what I could gather, they just kept... I don't know if they were nerfing each other off or they were just having a bit of argy-bargy or what, but I'd look at the delta and I'm put like 2 seconds on him in a lap, and I even had time to pick up a few slowdowns, which I was getting really annoyed about, because I'm like, what are you doing? You're 6 seconds ahead and you're getting slowdowns. Yeah, I can't complain at all. I'm sure I'll find something to complain about when I watch it back, but no, pretty much perfect.
It certainly worked out for you, mate. And obviously, still a couple of rounds left in the championship. This will throw you right into the mix. I mean, you're in 7th place, and sure, 50-something points off the top spot before, but I mean, you scored way more than 50 points tonight. So, how are you feeling with the last couple of rounds at Red Bull Ring and Zandvoort? Are you looking forward to potentially being in maybe the top 3, top 5?
I would love to think so. To be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed with where I am in championship, and it's my own doing. It's it's not been anyone else's fault, and it is annoying when obviously today put on a great performance, and it's like, well, why haven't you done that for the last 5 or 6 rounds or whatever? But no, I'll see how high I can climb. I mean, I'm not a huge fan at Red Bull Ring, but I had some good runs there in the Formula CDM cars, so. We'll see. Zandvoort's another tricky one. It's almost Zolder-esque. It's got some of them really awkward little twisty bits, but then obviously it's got the flowing stuff as well. So who knows?
Who knows?
2 weeks ago, I were getting bans. Tonight, I'm winning. Who knows what's going to happen next week?
Good God. Well, either way, Matt, it's great to see you get the result that you do deserve. And of course, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to while we've got you in the moment?
Shout out to Danny. Obviously, I know he's not had the greatest time with performances either, and he really pulled off. I think they pulled off a P5 in race 2, I believe. I believe it was, which was exceptional for him. Obviously, with a pit lane start as well, is ridiculous. I just said to him, look, keep your head down. I know it's going to be wet. I know half of them will get it wrong on tyres. Annoyingly, I was in the half that got it wrong. But he did it right, and he kept his head. He drove sensibly. He got a P5, which is his best result. So big shout out to Danny. Congrats to him.
Good stuff. Well, always a pleasure to speak to you, Matt. Well done, mate, and enjoy the rest of your night. I'm sure you will.
Thank you very much. Catch you later.
Cheers. A very happy Matt Hoyland, but can you blame him? What a night.
Oh, no, not at all. He'd had a fantastic evening. and he, I'm sure, will be delighted to have that those 2 wins under his belt after what has been as he said, an up and down season. But to get at the points now means that he clearly has some pace and can try and pull through for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, hopefully so. 2 very interesting circuits coming up. Another driver that, considering the first race, didn't end up having that bad a night is Mr. Macaulay, and he is with Darragh Thackett.
Hello, Dan. Welcome in. Race 2 win, just missing out on race 3. It was difficult in race 1 with the, you blinked through turn 4, which almost caused the contact that sent you spinning out. But I mean, aside from that moment, it was a pretty good even for you, wasn't it?
Yes, surprisingly good actually. When I joined the practice and qualifying and seeing how far off the pace I was kind of dreading race 3. But I think I just kind of got a bit lucky with them fighting behind, and then ultimately I think slowdowns cost me. I got one early on that seemed to go from 1.1 seconds to 1.7 very quickly. It's quite hard to serve, and then the second one, just got it at the total wrong time. I didn't know how stable Mountain it was for the last one, and I didn't want Matt driving through me if I was blinking, so I thought the safest thing was just let him by, get it served off the racing line, and then see if I could catch him again, and ultimately just came up short.
Yeah, but still good points for you tonight, particularly considering where you were in the championship coming into this evening. I wanted to talk quickly about the wet weather conditions, because it looked really tricky to keep it on the road. What made it so difficult here?
It seemed like there was a lot of rubber on the line, so as you turned, especially for the chicanes, the understeer was horrendous. I think I got a slowdown through the first chicane every lap apart from the last one. And maybe I think between lap 4 and the last one, yeah, I got it every time. Just as soon as you turn in and you hit that first curb, you have no grip on the outside tires, and it puts you too far across the other one. And then through the second chicane, it was like dancing on ice between the painted curbs and the little bit of tarmac that's obviously very crested in the middle. So the rest of the track felt good fun. It was more enjoyable than Donington, apart from those 2 chicanes, I think.
Yeah, and Donington wasn't fun at all for you guys, was it? In the wet. I mean, with only 2 weeks to go now, you're in a good position in the championship. What are your expectations that you're giving to yourself by this time in a fortnight?
To be honest, I'm not thinking about it, putting any pressure on it. Like, if it happens, it happens. I'm just here for a good laugh. That's the mentality I've had since the start. Just have a good race, enjoy yourself. Don't leave anything to the stewards, and what will be will be. I don't even know where the last 2 tracks are, but I'm sure it's going to be very, very close again. I couldn't quite believe how close race 1 was, considering how easy it is to get slowdowns and stuff here. So yeah, I'm just going to go into it with the same have fun mentality, race the same, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, good way to look at it. And yeah, hopefully it comes off quite well for you in the next couple of weeks. Before we let you go, Dan, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to in the broadcast?
Just you guys for broadcasting it, and Francois and the stewards for all the background, the work they do in the background. Looks like they've been busy. So yeah, just thanks to everyone, and I'll catch you next week.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. All right, well said. And yeah, good luck for next week, and you put yourself in a good position. So yeah, good luck.
No.
Dan Macaulay there. Good to get a word from him, isn't it, Chaz? As I was wondering whether we were going to get into a situation where you'd forgotten you'd muted your microphone, which I was looking forward to, but sadly
I did.
Remembered.
No,
Oh.
I did. Last minute, just as I looked to drag in, I saw the icon. I nearly got there. It's either muting it on Discord or muting it on the Stream Deck. The Stream Deck's the worst one to do it on, because the stream can't hear me, but Darragh can. So you don't know that I'm then muted to everyone else. I want to very quickly drag in
awful.
This guy, Adam Delmont, who's clearly had an awful night by the sound of what he's halfway through talking about. Mr. Delmont, great to have you back on my screen, mate. God, it's been a long time. How was that for you tonight?
Mate, it was good fun. It was just, I was just saying then, the slowdowns are awful on this track. I seem to just be a magnet for slowdowns whenever I come to this track. So, but the racing was really good fun.
And what was it like in that second race? I mean, we just spoke to Dan, and he said the understeer in the chicanes was horrendous, but the rest of it was quite good fun. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, the chicanes do puddle quite a lot. So yeah, it doesn't matter how slow you try and back it up. There's no grip whatsoever, so you just have to haul it up, let it roll through. But everywhere else is quite fun. You can get it sliding a little bit to your benefit. But yeah, chicanes are always—they're a handful when it's dry, mate. I get slowdowns when it's dry.
Yes, very true, mate. Very true. It is one of those circuits. But what are your thoughts for the rest of the season then? Red Bull Ring and Zandvoort still to come. Have we got you for both of those?
Yes, you have, mate, and I do actually genuinely like those two tracks. So I'm looking forward to those a bit more. This is always a slightly weak track for me. Like, you know, as I said, I always seem to just scrape slowdowns. Maybe I should just listen to myself and slow it down a little bit through chicanes, but, you know, where's fun in that?
Yeah, very true. Well, it's been great to have you back on my screen, Adam. Like I say, it's been a mighty long time. I even had to try and remember the name of XI Energy iRacing for a minute.
Yeah, it has been a while.
It has indeed. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Just, you know, the drivers. It's been a good laugh. It's been good fun. It's good to be back in the sim. And obviously yourself. It's been a while, mate. And it's really good to hear your voice and be on your screen again.
Well, thank you very much, Adam. Always a pleasure, mate. And we look forward to the rest of the season with you.
Cheers, Chaz. Thank you.
Cheers. Great to have Adam back with us. And if you'll, what's the word? Entertain me, Dara. Why don't you take it away with the one and only Mr. Holman, another debutant that we've had here with us tonight.
Well, except for qualifying at Okayama,
yeah. welcome, James. Race 3, quickly, first of all. You were pulling it back to that group at the front. Talk us through how you're trying to make moves, because that looked quite tense.
Yeah, I did look back at the replay there. It looks like Alex just drifted across and tapped my rear. I actually thought it was going to be probably one of the best moves of the night, but unfortunately, the way he drifted across, it just tapped my rear. And when you're already braking on the front wheel drive, the rear is as light as anything. So just he sent me to Narnia, unfortunately. Yeah, I kept getting slowdowns in the first half of the race. I was sort of trying to get used to where the grip was, and I kept turning in. I was so much quicker than everyone else in that second chicane. But I think part of that reason was because I was being quite aggressive in my line, and I kept messing up basically. So at the beginning, so all the hard work I kept doing, I kept getting close, and then I kept getting a slowdown, and it made me fall back. So, yeah, no, it was good. That was just a shame what happened with Alex there, because I think if that hadn't have happened, I definitely would have got third. And the pace was half decent. The Matt and it's so hard to make a big pace difference in these cars anyway. So I probably would have finished third, but that's what it cost me, was one position in the end. But a bit of a shame because it would have been a nice move to pull off. But I did a really good move on Alex on the last lap too. So I went around the outside of him into that chicane on the last lap. So I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, no, I mean, talk us through the race 2 strategy as well, because it was difficult at the start to decide between the wet and the dry. What was the thought process that you went through?
It looked dry, so I went for the dry, and then Martin did say to me, he said that Donington, he said it did rain quickly, and he said, because Martin was I convinced Martin to go on to dries with me. So anyway, it was the wrong decision, but. Yeah, no, I just thought real life racing. I thought it would be quick enough to hold off. It rained so hard that it just made the track. It was near enough undrivable within a couple of laps. So had to box, and unfortunately my pace was really good in the wet. Actually, I think I pulled about 12 seconds in on Dan, who won the race, and I was catching Matt and Adam as well by about 4 or 5 seconds as well, and that. So I think if I'd been on the right tyre, I'm not saying I would have won, but it would have been definitely would have had a good chance of winning. And then obviously that makes the final race much easier then as well. So probably one bad tyre call probably cost me a good evening in terms of overall results. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah, but in the end, still a good night's worth of racing. I think, you know, I'd like to think you'll be looking forward to next week, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
No, carry on, sorry.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I would say it's first time back in the rig for a couple of months, so yeah, that was good fun, and yeah, really enjoyed the racing tonight. Yeah, it was good fun, so just try, hopefully go a bit better next week.
Yeah, and yeah, hopefully it'll be another good week for you in 7 days' time. Before we let you go, though, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to on the broadcast?
I'd normally give a shout out to my mum at this point, but unfortunately she passed away there a couple of months ago. So I'd say sorry to bring the sort of stream down again, but so I'd always used to just give her a shout out, and she used to love watching Chaz's stream. So well, I'm sure wherever she is, she's watching anyway. But shout out to her, and then yeah, obviously big shout out to the team, Ardy. Rob's still recovering from a bit of an injury there, and Martin was with me tonight, and obviously Dylan's injured as well. So most of RD's injured at the moment, and which is not good. But big shout out to the team anyway.
Yeah, well said. No, I hope you and the family are doing well, James. Sending our love. Yeah. Thanks for joining us this evening. I'm glad you've had fun. I'm glad you got back in and enjoyed yourself. That's always what we want to do here at CDM. So good stuff. Good luck for next week, and we'll maybe hope to speak to you then.
Yep. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Thanks for the broadcast as well. Thanks to you and Chaz. And I'll see you next week.
Cheers, James.
Lovely stuff. And yeah, like James said, during the Sim Racing Magazine GT4 Challenge and all the series that I've commentated on James in. Yeah, his mum used to watch and love the broadcast. So he's running the number 47 as a tribute to her for this season. I think it's because that was her birthday. I've got the message from him. He did say that he was changing his number. I was just trying to find it, but me and James do talk quite often, so unfortunately I can't quite find it at the moment. Bless him. But yeah. He's a lovely bloke, is James, and a really, really fast driver. Used to be a Legends racer as well, so yeah, certainly fast, and yeah, always lovely to speak to. But what a night, hey Dara! What a night here at Zolder. Once again, the wet race, interesting, but to be fair, it subdued things a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Again, 3 very individually unique races, 3 very different outcomes. Actually, that's a lie, isn't it? 2 of the outcomes were the same, weren't they, with Matt Hall and winning 2 of them? But there you are. 3 very different ways of getting there, let's put it that way. And yeah, looking forward to next week, because we're getting towards the finale now.
We absolutely are, yeah. Just 2 more race meetings left to go in the CDM Clio Cup. We head to Red Bull Ring next time out, my favourite circuit in Europe, and then we go to Zandvoort in the Netherlands, which will be an absolutely belting way to finish the season. Should be really, really good fun. There's a reminder as well that the Formula CDM Oceania Series calendar has been announced as well, and that will be kicking off in just 2 weeks' time from tomorrow. We have the driver sign-ups, and we will have the team draw. Sorry, I keep getting this the wrong way around. The drivers that competed in the British Series can sign up from tomorrow. Public entries go live on Friday, and in 2 weeks we've got the team draw, and then we'll have pre-season testing there as well. We do have an advert for that, which I'll play in just a mo, but for now, thank you so much everybody for watching. Thank you very much, Dara, for being a joy to work with as always, and thanks for the drivers for putting on a great show. It's been Dara Thacker and Chaz Draycott in the commentary box for the CDM Clio Cup. We'll see you in a week's time. Have a good one.